Hello everyone and welcome back to the SteemTrail Gaming podcast. Today is the 11th March of 2018. My name is Kralizec. I will be one of your hosts for the evening. The second host is Tygergamer. Hello Tiger, how are you doing this fine day?
Great, how about you?
I'm a bit tired, but otherwise I'm actually doing good.
That's good to hear.
How have you been in the past week?
I've been doing great.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to talk about video games, so let's get straight into that. So Tiger, have you been playing something that was of interest?
Yes. First off, I tried out Portal Bridge Constructor for PS4. So.
Okay, so people might not know, but we did a co-op review of Bridge Constructor Portal.
Yeah, sure did.
I played on PC, you played on mobile, and now you played on PlayStation. So how does it compare?
Well, pretty much just the same game, but different control scheme.
Better or worse?
I would say they're about the same. Even though on the PS4, you actually have to use the left analog stick to move the cursor around in order to build bridges and all that. But other than that, it's still pretty intuitive. So,
because I would assume on mobile it would feel less janky, I guess. You know, because you point exactly where you want shit. So
yeah.
Though I think the best controls for it must be on a large tablet.
Yeah.
Even on PC, it's probably not as ideal as just on a tablet because it's so intuitive. You just push your finger somewhere, you scroll it, and here it is. That seems super intuitive.
Yeah, and just so I know, when I first played Portal Bridge Constructor, this is what I played it on. So.
Yeah, and I had my massive 27-inch screen in front of me the whole time.
Well, I would say the good thing, even on the PS4 version, at least you can zoom in to what you want to build. So.
Ah, okay. Well, that's nice because otherwise that would have been a hassle.
Yeah. Just zoomed out and trying to build with the small pieces of bridge without zooming in. Yeah, that would have been kind of difficult to do.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. But that was probably like the first thought on everybody's mind. How do we make zoom happen?
Yes.
Okay, would you recommend? What does it cost in PS?
$15.
I wonder what it. I think it was like $20 when I bought it on PC. I wonder what it is right now. Okay, it's 10 right now on PC, and on mobile it is. Do you remember? Or can you?
I think it was like $5.
Okay, so actually it's more expensive. That's sort of surprising to me because it is coming out late, and it's not a particularly demanding game. And I think most people who have already wanted to play it would have either played it on like their phone or iPad, or on their PC. So I'm sort of surprised it's not at the very least cheaper than on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the Sony tax.
And Microsoft and Nintendo. Well, Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah, on Nintendo it will be like $40.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I myself got to play Hugel this week.
Okay.
So I already got the review ready. It's fully rendered and everything. I'm just waiting to post it at some good day. It's great. The only real complaint I have about it's short. It took me almost exactly 2 hours to finish, and it's not the cheapest one out there. Like, I think I'm bad with prices. Let's check the store. I think it's like 20. No, it's $10, but it's 2 hours, $10. You know that in terms of gaming, that is actually a pretty bad deal. The thing is, I was laughing for 2 hours straight when I played it. So first of all, it looks amazing. But you can see that from the screenshots, and I don't think there's a single person who would dispute that. It sort of reminds me of kids shows. At least the ones that are playing here on Czech television. But that's sort of to be, you know, you could understand that it's as happening as the authors are also Czech. But it uses such amazing slapstick humor. And I'm a big fan of slapstick humor. I used to grow up on things like Bugs Bunny or even Popeye, and I just love those things. So this played straight into what I actually like, the kind of humor. And I do believe slapstick is somewhat universal. I don't think there are a lot of people who say, oh, slapstick, that is boring. So, yeah, great visuals, fun gameplay. The music is good. It's not like it will knock you out of your seat. What I loved about the sound design was the way the main character is voice acted. Because it's just a ton of random gibberish. Like, literally, it's like, who did you live? But it's done really well with a lot of emotion. And if you also watch the character on screen, you will understand perfectly what he wants to say. No problem with that. So that was amazing. And as I said, apart from the really short gameplay time, there isn't really anything to say the game is bad about.
So pretty much it's just it's quality or quantity.
Yeah. If you don't mind paying a bit more for getting it early, get it now. If $10 is too much for 2 hours, you know, just wait a bit. It will come on sale on Steam for sure. So get it then.
Yeah, the way I see it, if a game costs like $10-20, but it's only like an hour or 2 hours long, I would say if it's a good enough game, then let it be that long. You don't want it to overstay its welcome.
Yeah, that was like, I was thinking about it, like, what if it was actually longer? Would that be a problem? I think it could probably handle maybe an hour more. And then it would probably outstay its welcome. But yeah, the 50% more value getting is actually a big deal when you think of it like percentage-wise. But yeah, you do have a point. If it was too long, it would actually hurt the game.
Yeah.
But a definite recommendation from me for Kuchel. And I've just been checking out some Let's Plays and other reviews of it because I wanted to see how people pronounce the game's name. And I literally like have a paragraph in the review about how the fuck we should pronounce the name of the game. Because everybody's like, it's Chachel? Chuchel? Chachel? No, it's fucking Kuchel. So, and if anybody's interested, it means like a lump of something, you know, like a clot. So it's not really. People are just, oh, it's just a random name. No, it actually means something in a language. And the other, you know, because you also have like a pet in there who's actually always like. It's a puzzle game about trying to get back your cherry. That's like this. That's the story. You could just say, yeah, you're a character and you want your cherry. That's the story, literally. And sometimes your little pet named Kekel comes and takes the cherry away because he wants to eat it as well. And Kekel is like what a baby would say in terms of doo-doo. It's like literally the same, you know, like you Americans would say doo-doo, like, and we would say keke. So it's a clod of hair and a piece of poo.
Oh wow!
And I've been showing the game to my girlfriend. She says, "Okay, this actually looks nice. I don't like the fact that everybody's getting beaten, etc. Because you know that's slapstick humor for you.
Yeah.
But like for a 90-year-old, 80-year-old, this would be a great game because not only it does look for that age group, it also practices your mental abilities because you need to find the solutions. And sometimes they feel like moon logic, but they never really are. There's always logic behind it. The only problem why it feels like moon logic is the style of the game is so outlandish that sometimes you just don't understand what something does. You know, there's like a giant blob on the screen, and you just don't understand that it's a blob that can eat you because, you know, but once you understand what it does, then you can easily solve most of the puzzles. And there's even in-game help, and I really like the fact that there is in-game help for solving each of the puzzles.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much all I have to say about Hugel. What else did you play?
I also played just a little bit of Scribblenauts Showdown.
Okay.
And
how was that?
And all I have to say is it's pretty much just a party game. Like it's like the person I can make is like Mario Party, and I'll say it's a good game. But I'll say this way: make sure you actually have people to play with, because this game does not have online multiplayer. It's all local. So.
And will the multiplayer be coming in the future?
I don't know. I do not know.
Let's quickly search Scribble. Now it's Showdown online multiplayer. Yeah, it doesn't seem to. I don't see.
Yeah.
Anything, and I usually it would be like mentioned around the first or second page or Google, but I just don't see anything. Well, what can you do?
Yeah, well, hey, we'll say this though. I appreciate them wanting to stick with local multiplayer, considering that in a way that's kind of dying off, but it's also coming back now as well. So.
Yeah, I think there was a big push for let's do everything online. And they just completely forgot about the fact that sometimes people they have parties. And sometimes they like to play games. And especially, you know, let's take a look at, you would have a Dungeons and Dragons group, let's say. And let's say your GM would just be ill, you know, or sick, and he couldn't play that evening. But your group would meet up anyway, so what do? Well, you play some party games.
Yeah.
So I think there is still a market for these sort of games.
Yeah.
It's not probably the biggest of markets, but there definitely is.
Yeah, but also in the game, you can also play the game by yourself, but after a bit it gets kind of boring. So it's best if you have like a group of people playing along with you.
Yeah, that's often the case with party games that you can try them. It's not actually a good thing that they allow single player, because you can try them out and say, yeah, I tried this one, it's just boring as fuck. Okay, so I played one more game, and this one has sort of a controversy attached to it. So I initially didn't notice it in the store because it just had a super dumb name, and I assumed it's going to be some anime game with you are supposed to get the chick, and I just don't have fun playing those. They seem ridiculously stupid to me. But then I saw an article on Polygon, and the article is titled "Pickup Artist Game Super Seducer is as bad as it sounds." So I read the article, and I was like, okay, this is Polygon. I cannot trust them on these things. Because they're Polygon.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what? I'll test this myself. I'll see whether it is actually a creepy game or whether it's a tool for people who lack skills with women to maybe get them in an interactive way. Then later, there actually came a bit of an involvement on the quote-unquote controversy. The game was blocked from sale on PlayStation. It was initially supposed to appear on PlayStation, but after the Polygon article and people like starting to screech against the game, PlayStation decided to not launch it. That made me even more interested. So you know what? At a point, I was like, okay, let me just email this guy. What's his name? He has like a super horrible name. Richard Laruna. That's his name. And funny enough, the part I don't understand, he's supposed to be British, but he sounds like Romanian. So he doesn't sound British at all. Like, not at all. But who cares? Maybe he just had like Romanian parents or whatever. And I would ask him, you know, would you provide me with a review code? I would like to actually test this out, whether it's a tool to help guys. I was like saying, whether it's a creepy game or whether it's a good kind. That's what I said in the email, essentially. And he was kind enough to provide me with a review code.
Okay.
And like an hour later, before I even downloaded the game, you know, and anything, I had a second idea. I was like, you know what? It could be interesting if I did an interview with this guy. So I sent another email, and would you be willing to do an interview also, either in video or text form? And he actually agreed. So that's going to be coming sometime next week.
Okay.
Sadly, he agreed only to a text interview. I think a video one would have actually been more fun. And so far, I've played about hour and a half of the game. Very sad to report. I will probably side with Polygon on this one. And it makes me really sad. I was really hoping it's just them being them. But sadly, this game is creepy, man.
Yeah, it is. I seen a Let's Play and I'm like, dude, why would you release this kind of game?
I know why. You know, I actually used to be sort of a womanizer when I was younger. I liked to just have fun with girls, and always, I don't know, I was always honest. This won't lead anywhere. I just like you, and I would like to sleep with you, and I think that behavior is okay.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have anything against him if that was if that is what he does. You know, that's his thing. If he likes sleeping with a lot of girls, that's his pejorative. Yeah. And I wouldn't even have a problem if he went out and taught guys how to do that. Again, if people just want to have casual sex, that's their own thing, and nobody ever should talk about it. The problem is, he essentially stated that, oh, he's really disappointed because he's all about teaching people honesty and being upfront, etc. That's not what's actually in the game. The game is not about being honest. The game is about using, and I'm not going to claim that the tricks don't work, because I will be honest, they most likely will. It's like little psychological tricks to allow you to enter what's called one of the, it's not a safe zone, it's like there are zones around you to which you allow different people, and the closer you get, the closer you have to be to the person emotionally. So, you know, usually it says like a meter for strangers. If you meet a complete stranger, you will not allow him more than a meter to you. If it's somebody you know, but you know you're not like emotionally attached to them, it will be around half a meter to 3/4 of a meter. And then there's your like safe bubble, you know, like a little bubble around you to which you will allow only the very close people, whether it's relatives, maybe your lover.
Yeah.
And yeah, those things exist, and this game is teaching you like tricks that will psychologically, I don't think the word here would actually be manipulate, because that is not honest. That wouldn't be honest either. But there are little tricks that make you go through these zones much quicker than you would go normally. But the problem I really have is mostly the presentation, the way these tricks are being introduced to you.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because when I looked at the screenshots, there were, so for example, I have one here in front of me. There's like, you know, there's this guy and a girl, and they're met on the street. It was actually part I played. And there are a few options, you know. Use checking out her earrings as an excuse to touch her. Find an excuse to take off your shirt to show off your physique. Ask what hairstyle she thinks would be good for you. Start touching yourself to get her turned on. Ask her what she does for a living because she looks artistic. There's only one insanely obvious answer here. All the rest are insanely ridiculous. But the thing is, the one of these answers is like the best answer. And the rest are like, there's usually one that is just, this is bad, you know, don't do this. And here I would assume it's start touching yourself to get her turned on. At least I hope so. But there are other ones, like, for example, the A, use checking out her earrings as an excuse to touch her. I'm reasonably sure this would actually pass in the game as an okay thing, because it would allow you into one of her personal spaces. But that's just horrible.
Yes.
And on top of that, I was hoping the game would be about how to get a girl to go on a date with you, and from there on you just be yourself. Not so much. It is really about how to get girls to bed, and on its own that wouldn't be so horrible. But yeah, it's just it's really creepy. And again, it makes me sad to say this, but Polygon was right on this one. But you can expect a review of it within a few days.
Okay.
I'm going to post a review, and I'm going to criticize it for what it is. The one thing I can say it's good about it, the level of technical polish is actually pretty high.
Okay.
They have good quality video and good sounds and etc. But otherwise, for fuck's sake. Okay. And that's this done, and I'm glad it's done, because, man, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, I do.
Good. Okay, so did you play something a bit more normal than me?
No, nothing else.
Okay, then I guess it's time to move on to the news. Let's start with the meeting between Donald Trump and some of the video game heads of the industry. So, first of all, there actually was a video showed at this event. And I already showed it in the news, I think yesterday. But let's view it again. It's about a minute and a half long, so let's just switch to it and see how it goes. You know, it's just people killing themselves. It's sort of like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But in the end, it just didn't seem that horrible to me, honestly. I've seen much worse in movies.
Yeah, same here.
And to be honest, if anything, I would have more of a gripe with movies, because they look, you know, here, it just, you can see it's a game. They're textures and they're not real people. But in movies, everything looks usually very, very realistic.
Yes. I agree.
I sort of understand their point that here you are the agent who is doing these things. You're deciding who dies and when, etc. But the scientific conclusions so far point towards there not being a correlation between video game violence and real violence.
Yes.
It just really feels like an emotional thing to me. You know, people, especially older ones who don't play games, they just see this and they're like, oh, our kids are doing this? That must be horrible. No wonder there are so many shootings. And I don't know. I just don't believe it's true.
I don't either.
And there was another study this week that showed, this one wasn't like showing that violence in games causes or doesn't cause video game violence. This was a study that showed that I think it was 70% of people who do mass shootings have zero interest in video games. Why isn't that correlated to anything? I know it's you know, correlation isn't causation, but if 70% of people who do mass shootings, it does sort of suggest that it's probably not the reason why people do mass shootings. And there were mass shootings before video games appeared.
Yes.
So yeah. why would video games cause it? I just don't get it.
A new medium, a new thing so people can blame.
Yeah.
Just another scapegoat.
Oh, I wonder, have you ever seen, it was like a comic, and it started with, you know, like a modern guy that was like, why can't my children play outside instead of playing on their computers? Then there was a second panel, it was like the 50s, you know, why can't my children play outside instead of watching TV? Then it switched to like 1900, it was like, why can't my children play outside instead of listening to music? It was like the 15th century. Why can't my children play outside instead of reading books? And then it's jumped to the like Stone Age. Why can't my children stay inside instead of being eaten by a tiger?
Yeah, really.
You know, I do really believe it's just a generational thing, and I'm 100% sure the next big thing that happens, our generation will be the one that complains.
Yep. Yep, no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
And reasonably sure it will be virtual reality at that point.
Yeah.
We will be like, oh, in my days we used to have to stare at a monitor and play with a keyboard. Why can't you do that? And there will be like in their virtual reality, not even hearing us, and they were...
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I can see VR... Even though right now it's still in its infancy, I can see it becoming a big thing in the future.
As I said, I still believe AR has more of a potential, in my opinion. But once we get things like haptic feedback for all of your body, or ideally direct neurological contact to your brain so you could just feel like you're inside the world, then it's going to be a thing. And people often say, like, yeah, but that won't happen for hundreds of years. And I'm like, no.
I doubt that.
It won't happen for a few decades. I'm reasonably sure of that. But we do have now tools that, you know, if you need a prosthesis, you can control it now with your nerves.
Yep.
The technology is sort of here. It's just ridiculously expensive. Yeah. That's why it's not used for VR, because it would just be ridiculously expensive. And on top of that, it usually works of, you know, remainders of nerves. Like, let's say they would have to chop your hand off because you had an injury. Yeah. And they will give you an artificial hand, and you will be sort of capable of controlling, certainly not to the precision you would be capable with your normal hand. But it doesn't work like they connect it to your brain. They connect it to the end of your hand. And because there are still remainders of nerves there, they can connect to the remainder of the nerves. So I guess that's a different thing. But once we get things like, you know, I think the next big thing that will push VR a lot further will just be haptic gloves. If you can get reasonable gloves that don't look like a giant boulder on your arms, that can give you a little bit of a haptic feedback so you could actually feel like you're holding something when you're holding something in game, that will push VR a lot in front, but I don't know.
Or instead of gloves, how about an entire suit?
A suit has one big problem, in my opinion. It would require insane amounts of energy.
Yeah, true.
But gloves, I can feasibly imagine like you would have gloves that fit most of your hand, and then like slightly behind the wrist, they would be slightly heavier, and you would have like a battery that would last 2 to 3 hours. But for a whole suit, the battery would have to be like on your back, and would probably get insanely hot, etc. So for that, I don't see it right now. Maybe in the future, though. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand, but there's a lot of alternative energy sources out there now, but they're being, downplayed by the oil companies and all that. So.
Oh yeah, usually they do have their issues, the energy sources. No doubt about that, and I don't really think they're being like downplayed by the oil industry. Because I'm not big on like conspiracies, etc. I just think the fact that oil is insanely, what's the word? You can get it super easily, and it's super easy to use. Sure. That's a huge benefit people often forget about oil.
Yeah. But let's get back on the topic.
Yeah, okay, back topic, right. White House meeting.
Yeah.
So there were a few people representing the video game side of things, and obviously a few people representing the anti-gamer sort of things, I guess, would be the way to put it. So there were a few people from the ESA. There was a representative from Bethesda, if I remember correctly. For the anti-gamer side of things, there was somebody from... There were some authors of books that claimed that video games cause violence, which seems sort of ridiculous. Why would you bring authors of books unless they were scientists? Really. And I don't think they were scientists. There was like a representative who proposed the ban of violent video games or a taxation of them. And obviously there also was Mr. Donald Trump. And he was the one who played the video we showed in the beginning of this segment. And otherwise, I don't think anything happened really in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably talked. Because we haven't heard anything from the White House so far, I do believe they managed to get to Trump a bit. Like directly to him, not probably, to the authors of the books or the Republican representative, but I do believe they probably got a bit to Trump. Saying like, okay, so look, we have studies that show nothing of the sorts.
Yeah.
And because he heard it in person, I do believe that is the way to convince Donald Trump of anything.
Yeah.
Or on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
So I do believe that's why we haven't had like a big statement from the White House that would be like, yeah, so the video game industry is like full of baloney. But because there wasn't anything, I do believe he's like right now thinking to himself, maybe nobody really gives a crap. Because in the end, I think the amount of the population that gives a crap is minuscule.
Yes.
So even if he isn't convinced, I think he will just drop it for the moment because it would not bring him enough political points.
Yeah. Until the next mass school shooting, they'll bring it back.
I would love if next time it was like a really peaceful guy, like a Buddhist monk who did it. Who doesn't even own a computer, doesn't have a mobile phone, and he would like grab the gun of somebody, of a policeman, and just went in, and they couldn't blame anyone for once.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I want a school shooting to happen, but I do believe that it's inevitable in America.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because of the sheer number of guns circulating your country.
Yeah.
And that's, in my personal opinion, that's literally the only reason why America has school shootings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the sheer amount of guns that is at your country.
Actually, well, I'm on opinion, but I'm just gonna keep it at that.
Okay. So, let's continue the violent games thing a bit and take a look at a school named the Cushman School in Miami, where students decided to throw out their violent video games in a stand against virtual violence. Good job. You played yourself. So, I tried doing a bit of like finding more information about the school. It seems to be some sort of private school with both elementary children there, like middle school children, high schoolers. It seems like a school that goes through all the ages. It actually seems like a pretty like high class school.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's
one of their images they have of their site is a woman, an adult woman playing golf. How is that related to school in any fucking way?
Yeah.
And they have like it's called a Cushman School Gala. It's called Casino Night Old Havana. Yeah, that's definitely what schools do. A casino night.
Wow.
And they are the ones complaining about violence in video games. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to assume the event is for like the parents so they can like, you know, give more money to the school. That's my assumption. But still. Yeah, it's a fundraiser. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, so
so throw away your violent video games to help raise money for the school.
Yeah, and complaining about violent games at the same time. So the head of the school actually commented on this event, and he said, "We believe every student beyond even Cushman's Blue Gates belongs to each one of us. There are students who are going to become the leaders of tomorrow and developing a healthy growth mindset that will come back and contribute positively to this community and beyond. Becomes a responsibility for every single one of us." I'm sorry, guys. Good for the people who buy these games on cheap, I guess.
Yeah, really. The way I see it is, people they find an easy way to make money, but then what's gonna be their next campaign?
Yeah, to me it just seems that I'm going to assume there was like an overzealous student, probably in high school. It's usually the high schoolers who do this.
Yeah.
And he managed to convince the teacher that this would be a good thing. And from there on, it spiraled on, you know, because the teacher like came into class, we have this great idea. We could throw away all our violent video games. And then like a few of the other students were like, yeah, that actually sounds cool, you know, because it is, see? And then the rest of them just followed under peer pressure. That's my assumption.
Yeah. Yep. Also...
And one thing should be mentioned. I'm going to assume this is actually going to be a right-wing school.
Yeah.
Because if it was a left-wing school, they would probably be more talking about, oh, we should just ban guns. It's not the games that cause it, it's the guns. But right-wingers would be, no, we need our guns, but it's the games that cause it. It's the games. And the truth is somewhere else. The truth is people are idiots.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, let's move on from this. I really hope we can get over this. Like, I hope there's no new news concerning anything about video games violence next week.
Yes, I hope so too. But I doubt it.
Yeah, because our next piece of news is about a mass shooting threat aimed at EVO 2018. Yay. So if anybody doesn't know, EVO is a major, like one of the biggest tournaments in the gaming world. This one is aimed at fighting games. It's actually one of the coolest ones, to be honest. The people who play these games at these levels are insane. Like,
Yeah.
what they can do
they
is
are.
just insane. Well, and one of the people who were in Twitch chat made a comment that was essentially a threat that, yeah, I'm going to come and shoot everybody, essentially. So the FBI was notified, Twitch was notified, Twitch is working with the FBI because, well, hopefully they can give some information, like the IP address at the very least, to the FBI. And I do hope this guy goes to prison and gets his ass raped.
Yes.
Because
But
this
also,
is so dumb.
Yeah, it is. But also, I honestly think this is just my opinion on it, but I think there is a way to circumvent these mass shooting threats besides just calling in the FBI. If like no one doesn't listen, like someone wants to cause mass shooting there, but they don't threaten, they don't write a threat or something. There is a way to prevent that.
Shoot him before he gets there?
I actually have like people like some of the staff that work on these tournaments. If they are trained in using firearms, let them bring that, like the staff, like certain staff members bring the their firearm to the EVO event. They don't actually have it.
There's a problem with that approach, and I understand your point of view, but there's a problem with it. He would very likely get to shot off a few shots before somebody would intercept him.
Yeah, true.
And on top of that, it would cause mass panic, and mass panic could cause a lot of additional injuries.
Yeah, but like I said, I agree. There's a problem with that, but honestly, just believe it. Instead of taking away the guns, how like trained staff that know how to use a firearm.
Well, I'm going to assume they will probably have security there.
Yeah.
And probably some of it will be, they will have some sort of weapon, maybe non-lethal weapons like a taser or something. But I do believe the first step is actually to try to prevent it. Ideally.
Yeah.
Instead of solving the issue at the place when people would get hurt, just prevent it altogether.
But I'm just saying that, like, if someone does not make a open threat towards the event, have that security measure in place.
Well, I'm going to assume they probably have a lot of security measures for especially these big events. And as far as I know, they're probably required by law to have them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. This concludes our political section of the week.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not really.
Yeah.
But at least the one connected to violence.
Yes.
Let's do one more scandal of this week. And that was about an Overwatch moderator named Uncle Swag, who was actually a big moderator for the Overwatch community. He moderated more than 100 Twitch channels. And he came out this week and apologized for a bit of a scandal he got himself into. That is about revenge porn. I don't know if you do know what revenge porn is.
From what I can tell, is like uploading something that involves porn of a person that you want to get back on.
Can you guess who is the most common person you would want to get to insult? Let's call it. And who is the most likely person of you to have nudes of?
Your significant other.
Yes, your ex.
Yes.
So usually revenge porn is like you had a girlfriend or a boyfriend and they would send you nudes and then you would break off, so you would be angry and you would post them over the internet. For some reason I don't understand, Uncle Swag decided that it would be a good idea to be hoarding revenge porn. I can see the reason why, because, you know, guys and their needs, let's call it that way.
Yeah.
But for a reason which I actually don't understand, he decided it would be a good idea to spread these. You know, to upload them back on the internet when they would get deleted because the person who was revenged upon complained, etc. But, man. So obviously this was a dumb thing of him to do.
Yes.
And he apologized for it, which is a good thing. I do have the apology right here, so I'm going to read it to you guys. Yeah, it's there. Different people from different times in my life have opposite views of me, and they are both justified. I haven't tried to dedicate myself to do good things just because I have skeletons. I come from a very depraved life with no immediate family or guidance and made it worse with online communities. And that's what I was. A depraved, toxic shit who hated everybody and everything and sought out to hurt people. I blamed the world for my life and did nothing to change it. But that isn't who I am today. I've learned what it means to do good things the hard way, being evil, edgy, and self-destructed. I always get asked how I could or why I modded 24/7 because I pushed myself every day to do it. I didn't get paid to do it for 2 years. I did it because I didn't give myself a choice. I don't want to be that person I was. I want to do good things, be nice, and make people happy. Turn my life around. Moderating wasn't just deleting comments for me. I interacted with communities privately and publicly. Hundreds of thousands of messages in Twitch channels, 99,000 just in Seagulls. Helping, molding them. I put my heart and soul into it because it matters to me. I've done a lot of good and I've done a lot of bad. The good doesn't excuse the bad, but that evil person isn't who I am today. I made an effort to make a positive difference in the world. I don't think there is another mod who has gone as far as I did, but it's over now. I am sincerely sorry to the people who I have hurt and disappointed. I am not the same person. I really hope people understand. So I would like to start with this. This is not an apology. This is an explanation.
Yeah.
Luckily, he did send out a tweet where he actually apologized. Because in the tweet he said, I meant for my response to be a send-off. I'm not looking for forgiveness. I don't forgive myself. What I did was wrong. I'll always be sorry to add Code Hitchhiker and everybody else I caused harm to and disappointed. I am sorry it had to come again this way and this late. So at least here he actually apologized. But what he did was just plain dumb, plain stupid, and as far as I understand, at least in America, illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this. And I don't think there's anything else to add to it than just don't post people's nudes online unless you have their permission.
Yep.
That's sort of self-explanatory. Okay, let's move to some gaming tech news. So last week, the Oculus Rift had slight mishaps going with it, as they just stopped working all over the world. The reason for it was actually somewhat hilarious to me. So the error people were experiencing was can't reach Oculus runtime service and failed to initialize with Oculus signature invalid. And there was some guy who, you know, there's always at least one guy. And so he went through the files inside the Oculus software and he discovered there was a little signature package that was expired. Because of this single issue, the whole thing stopped working. Because if anybody doesn't know, these signatures essentially work, you know, Your computer sends it out. The computer on the other side checks it and says, okay, now I know I can trust this computer. And when these things expire, well, the other computer will be like, no, fuck not, I'm not going to talk with him. That's what was happening. You just couldn't connect to Oculus servers. And because the signature had the same date on everybody's system, well, it couldn't connect. Luckily, right now there is a fix. Though somewhat hilariously, you actually have to install it manually. Because you cannot connect to the Oculus service with the old software to, update. So I know you have just a PlayStation VR, but I wonder, like, how often do you use it?
I haven't used it in a few weeks, so.
So because I've sort of been wondering, like, okay, so let's say I would have an Oculus Rift. Let's say I would have 100 people who have the Oculus Rift. How many of them have actually been impacted by this when it happened? And my assumption would be like 5. Because I honestly don't believe that many people are using their VR headsets that often.
Yeah.
Probably maybe more often with the Vive and the Oculus than with the PSVR because of the sheer price. You know, and when you buy something expensive, you probably do want to use it.
Yeah.
Still, I don't think it was as big of a deal as people are making it out. It is sort of hilarious, and I do believe it hurt the brand a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, just the value of the brand. Okay, let's move on to more video game tech news, and this one is just a rumor. And there are some rumors being spread around by a person named Marcus Sellers, who is actually pretty good reputation when it comes to leaks. And he is saying that Sony is already sending out developer kits to third-party developers for the PlayStation 5. Which would suggest we could see Nintendo 5, let's say within a year and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
Yep.
So how much do you believe this? How much do you believe we will see the PlayStation 5 within 2 years?
Actually, I believe it because, I mean, coming up this November, I've had my PS4 for like 5 years, so yeah, it's getting close to the end of this console generation, so.
Well, you need to remember there is the PlayStation Pro.
Yeah, true.
And the same for the Xbox. You know, they have their Project Scorpio, and
yeah.
And I don't believe the development of either of those things was cheap. They probably do want to make their money back.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say PS5 and the Xbox either in the year 2020 or 2021 at the latest.
I would probably agree with that. I don't think we will see it this or next year. I would say 20 is the earliest.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we agree on this one.
Yeah, shoot, I mean, I've had my PS4 since November 15th, 2013, since launch day. So.
Yeah, you're sort of a fan, right? You're a little fanboy.
Actually, I have all 3 consoles now, so I'm not a fan.
I have none.
You have a PC.
Yay, because it's the PC Master Race.
I don't see that.
I know, I'm just teasing.
I know. Me personally, I prefer, like, even on PC, if I had a PC, I'd rather use a controller, not a keyboard or mouse.
For me, it depends on the game. Really, it does. You know, for a platformer, I will probably use a gamepad. When it comes to Rocket League, I cannot imagine playing it on a keyboard. But when it comes to a first-person shooter, how the fuck do you play that? I just don't get it.
Yeah. You gotta get used to it. I've been playing console games since I was 3 years old, so.
I I tried playing Doom on the gamepad. No, it's not for me. Yeah, but it's preference, and this is the space. This is the reason why we are us two here, because this is the place where we tease each other's with, you saying consoles are better, I'm saying PCs are better, but we still are friends and we can still talk. It's not like we insult each other. Yeah. I might call you a peasant time to time just for fun, but that's what guys do. We insult each other.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll call you a false master race.
Yeah, it's just... but I don't want to go into the differences between women and men in terms of how friendships work.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a last piece of news. This one will be largely yours, so Nintendo Direct.
Yes, the main thing is I want to give some of the bigger announcements, like some of the surprises that were announced, like South Park: The Fractured But Whole was actually announced to be it's coming over to the Switch, so you can have that game on there now, which I think is awesome.
What about the service itself? Can you talk a bit about the service itself?
What service?
Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah, the Direct was pretty good. They focused on 3DS at first, but then they mainly focused on Switch, which is the main thing. Which they had some surprises, but not that many. But all in all, I actually enjoyed it.
So you personally are most excited for Fractured But Whole?
No.
What are you most excited for?
One thing I'm most excited for is Super Smash Bros. 5 for the Switch. That's what I'm most excited for.
So, I think I read there were some concerns whether it's a new version or a port, right?
It's a new version.
It's a new version. Because I just saw an article. It was about a Switch, so it didn't concern me personally. Yeah. I just remember seeing it. So from what I am looking at the list, I think the thing that would interest me personally the most would be Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give that game a try, because it's a port of a Wii U game, and I didn't have a Wii U, so it's a good thing to get into.
When it comes to the 3DS things, there's nothing really of interest, I guess. For me, at least.
Yeah, same here. The only thing I got from that was they're porting the original Luigi's Mansion over for 3DS. But also, I'm there's also a group of people that go ask, why didn't they put this on Switch instead of 3DS? Because the 3DS has been out since 2011, so it's been around for 7 years. So.
So it's been for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand their, let's call it, complaint.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that is the end of the news segment for this week, and it's time to move on to the gaming recommendations.
Yes.
So let me start by something which I find insanely hilarious. So it's the Oedipus dating sim. So if anybody doesn't know, Oedipus is the guy who fucked his own mother in Greek mythology. And that is the exact point of this sim. It's about whether you should date your own mother or not. And obviously it's really creepy, and obviously it's fucking insane. But at the other end of things, it's freaking hilarious. It's done in actually a pretty interesting art style, I would say. But what the fuck are people doing? Wow.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have something normal to recommend?
Yes, first off, I'd like to recommend a game for PSVR. It's called Golem.
I think that's actually a Czech game, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I do believe so. Let me quickly find. Okay, so it's from Highwire Games. So where are Highwire Games located? No, they're from Seattle. But
Okay.
where did I read about is that Golem VR? I'm pretty sure I read about no. So wait a second. So there's a game called Golem VR from Deaver Labs, and they want to. Do you have a link for the game that you could send me? The one you're
Yes.
specifically talking about?
Yeah, well, let me get it for you real quick. You trying to send you their website or?
Oh, because I'm seeing one Golem game, and then I have a Golem game that is different, but that one is Czech. So that's what confuses me. This one is from a game called Deaver, from a studio called Deaver, and they are trying to make a game called Golem VR.
The one I'm talking about is from Highwire. So
Okay, so there it's different, but they sort of have the same idea, I guess.
yeah, possibly.
Because Golem, I don't know, the origin, like the place it comes from is from a Czech myth. It's like a creature made out of mud who will serve your bidding.
Yeah.
So, and it comes from a Czech myth. So that's why, like, it struck a chord in my brain. That's weird. It's weird that two studios have almost the same idea.
Yeah. But in this game, you play as a kid named Twine who gets badly injured. He cannot walk anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game, the main premise is you're able to transfer your mind from like one golem to another.
Okay,
and,
that does sound interesting.
Yeah. Really, I found out that it was coming out Tuesday. I just found out about it today. I was like, huh, I'm about to give the game a look. So I don't know that much more about it. So can't wait to give it a try.
Yeah, I can understand that. So I got two more games to recommend. The first of them is QB2, which is a first-person puzzle game, and it's a successor to QB. And you're just puzzling on an island. It looks really cool. A lot of people are talking about it. I have little doubt to the fact that it will be good. I will personally not play it because fuck puzzle games. But it does look cool. It's all about manipulating the structure of a world to change it. So I really think the original one... Do they have like a link to the original one? Toxic Games. Yeah, there's QB. There's a demo of the original QB. And the original version costs $2. So right now there's a 75% sale before the release of the second one. And it's like a director's cut, so I guess it has even like DLC in it.
Yeah.
Possibly. So if you like puzzle games and you haven't played this one yet, I guess that will be a very, very good choice for that price.
Okay.
But QB itself is good. QB2 should be coming out on the 13th. So yeah, if you like puzzle games, that might be fun for you. Okay. Yeah, got anything else to recommend?
Yes. I also got two more. First off, I'd like to recommend Surviving Mars, which looks pretty interesting. You're pretty much just building surrounding the Mars colony.
So yeah, I've seen that as well, Surviving Mars. But I think it's originally I thought it was a DLC for City Skylines.
Nope.
But interestingly enough, I know why I confused it, because I read this one. City Skylines hit 5 million sales, and they're celebrating it with free Surviving Mars DLC. Their DLC is called Surviving Mars, and the story came out 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I skipped over it.
Huh.
That's just cruel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And interesting enough, even Surviving Mars is a city builder.
Yeah.
So that is just weird.
But there's also a story to it.
Yeah.
There's also a story in the game too, so.
Man, this just confuses the fuck out of me. Oh, shut up. Is it... And it's from the creators of Tropico?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like wondering, maybe they're also releasing it as a standalone? No. That's just super weird. Holy crap. This just boggles my mind to a degree I would not consider possible. That's... Man, okay, I'll end that. So far as I understand, it's coming on the 15th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For $40.
Yeah, it's quite pricey.
Yeah.
Okay, the last game I got is called Soul Blight, which is a top-down action roguelite RPG game. To be honest, it looks a lot like Diablo from a top-down point of view.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess it probably has some roguelike elements to it. So if you're into that might be of interest. It's coming out also on the 15th. I might try this one. I don't think... It's been a pretty decently long time since I saw an ARPG done from a top-down point of view.
Okay.
Okay, and what's your last one?
I'm gonna start try out the Devil May Cry HD collection when it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Because I've never played in the Devil May Cry game, so I'm gonna give this a try.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those games, just to be honest. They just don't fit with me. So yeah, I understand there are a lot of people who are fans with them, but it's a very stylish action game. It's too over the top for my taste. On top of that, it's going to insanely old at this point.
Yeah, but even though this is a remaster, I've never played any Devil May Cry game, so it's my first.
Then you're probably the target audience for this.
Yeah, considering I just played and beat Bayonetta 1 and 2 last month, so...
Yeah, and it's good when there's actually target audience for a game.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything else to recommend. Do you?
No, I do not.
Then we are slowly coming up to the end of the show. I guess I'll start chilling today, so we don't have always you chilling first. So you can find me at Kralizec on Steam and as Kralizec Gaming on YouTube. Now it's your turn.
Alright, you can find me as Tygergamer on YouTube and at Tygergamer on Steam.
And you can see both our names right under our pictures here on the stream. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, maybe you would like to be considerate enough to leave us a little thumbs up. Maybe you would like to subscribe to our channel. Maybe you would even like to subscribe to our own personal channels.
Yes.
Either way, be sure to leave some comments under the post, either on YouTube or on Steam. And be sure to tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow the gaming news returns. And that's pretty much it. So see you guys later with more gaming content.
Y'all have a good one.